Alright, finally, the video I've been wanting to do. Let's talk about Morimoto. Morimoto. I know at some point you have heard of who Morimoto is because they're only one of a handful of companies that actually create full headlight and taillight assemblies for multiple vehicles. I mean, there are countless of companies out there that will sell you replacement LED headlight bulbs, but as far as full assembly, there's not many, and in my opinion, I think Morimoto makes the best looking ones. Now, I made an agreement with myself when I bought this Tacoma that I was gonna try as best as I can to keep everything as original as possible. Obviously, there are a ton of mods on this now, and I only wanted to modify the things that really did need to be modified, but try to keep whatever I can original, keep it original. And in that spirit, I decided not to get Morimoto headlights yet because I actually like the look of the Tacoma OEM LED headlights. But the two factory lights I did replace with Morimoto are the two lights that I feel Toyota could have done better with, and that is the fog lights and the tail lights. So let's start by talking about the fog lights. Now, Morimoto has your standard fog light replacements, like the ones that look just like the factory, but they're just much brighter and perform better. But they recently released these. These are the 4-banger LED pods. LED pods meaning you can pretty much use them anywhere. You can have a row of them and use it as a light bar. You can have a couple of them on your front bumper. You can put them on your roof for roof lights. Or you can buy the vehicle specific kit that gives you the trim and you just pop the 4-bangers into them, and now you can replace your fog lights with 4-bangers. The 4-banger comes in 4 different options. The first option you have to choose from is whether you want NCS or XHB. Now the NCS is their standard light. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be way more powerful than the factory lights that you have. However, if you really want the most powerful light that Morimoto has to offer for the 4-bangers, you're gonna want to jump to XHB. It's gonna just throw an insane amount of light out there. I decided to personally just go with NCS because they're a little bit more cost effective. They're not as expensive as the XHBs, and with off-road lights, then I really didn't need like bright fog lights. I already have an insane amount of light coming out of my KC Slimlight 8s anyway. But if you're gonna get these 4-bangers and make a light bar out of them, or you're gonna use it on your front bumper as your off-road lights, then I would definitely go with XHB. And then the second option would be whether you want to go amber or white. That's a pretty self-explanatory. I decided to go with the ambers just because I think they look way better in my opinion. Now, as far as specs for each pod, the NCS yellow throws out about 86.8 lux at 10 meters. The NCS white throws out 144 lux at 10 meters. The XHB white will throw out 224 lux at 10 meters. And it doesn't tell me here what the XHB yellows are. Input voltage 9 to 18 volts DC, and as far as how much it draws about 15.6 watts each. Now, as far as color temperature, the NCS yellows are 2400 Kelvin. The XHB yellows are 2700 Kelvin. The NCS whites are 5600 Kelvin, and the XHB whites are 5700 Kelvins. Now, as far as install, they are plug and play. You just take off your old harness, plug these ones in, and you are off to the races. Putting them on was a different story. Now, if you have a factory bumper and you bought the vehicle specific kit for your vehicle, it's gonna be like, just take the old one out, put the new one in. But as you see here, we have the ARB Summit bumper, and if you watched my install on this, then you'll know that the fog light housing wasn't necessarily the best, and I had to do a couple of different modifications in order for me to even get these in there. So the first thing I did was cut off the tabs on the fog light trim that Morimoto sent me so I can actually fit them inside the ARB fog light housing. Then I mounted the fog lights to the Morimoto trim using the supplied brackets and hardware. Now, there's a hole on one side of the ARB brackets that I was able to mount the Morimoto assembly into, but there wasn't a hole on the other side of the ARB housing, so I drilled a hole that would line up with the hole on the Morimoto housing and made sure it was secure, and then I popped the entire assembly into the bumper. The downside with this is that I can't really move this up and down. I mean, it's pretty much fixated right there, so I really had to put these in first, kind of aim them and make sure that they're falling in the right place. It can kind of go up and down and it'll kind of move, but there's not a lot of play here. I'm just proud I was able to get them in and use them because I did not want to rely on the fog lights that came with this bumper. They're just garbage. So now let's talk about the taillights. Now, this is how the Toyota Tacoma should have come straight from the factory as far as how it looks. And all the other Tacomas that are not the TRD off-road version pretty much looks like this. Full red with a little white area here for the reverse lights. But I don't know what Toyota was thinking when they did the TRD off-road, that they decided to use that clear kind of housing with like a chrome inside. Like, I feel like they missed the mark. They did the same thing with the 4Runner that we had before, and as soon as I got that, I swapped those out immediately. I just don't like the look of them. Everything else looks so good, and then you get to the taillights and they kind of missed the mark there. The 4th gen Tacomas, I think they look awesome. I think they're just really clean and simple, just kind of like the strip on each side. I think it's one of the nicest taillights that are out there. But with the 3rd gens, I mean, I think they just missed the mark with the TRD off-road package when they used that clear and chrome housing. Now, I could have just gone on Facebook Marketplace. I'm sure someone out there is selling an OEM all red Tacoma taillight, but if I was going to switch out the taillight anyway, why not go with one of the best? These are the newest version of Morimoto taillights. They're the XB version. The XB, they just took it to a whole nother level, and I just think it looks so much better. Now, when you buy taillights from Morimoto, you have two options. There's red and there's smoke. But when it comes to like silver like this, I feel like there's already so much silver and dark gray and black on this vehicle that having smoke taillights would have just made it look like I purposely modded the taillight, whereas this looks factory. But when you turn them on, they are anything but. I mean, I think the big difference is the light pattern. You turn these things on and you're gonna get the 3 LED light strips that just look so good and will draw a lot of attention, and that's what I wanted. And not in the draw attention of, hey, take a look at me and my taillights. I mean, I'm talking about like people who are following me, because they kind of scream at you as far as the lighting is concerned, then people will notice if I turn my turn signals on or if I hit the brakes. I mean, I think that's just way better than a halogen light stuck inside a red taillight housing. But also what makes this better than stock are these, the reverse lights. In the past, I've had to put light pods in the back so that when I'm at camp and I'm backing up, I can turn those lights on and make sure I'm not going to be hitting a tree or something. But these are so bright that you just hit reverse, these lights will come on. You won't need other pods. They light up the area really well so you can see where you're going. When you have stock ones, stock lights are not very bright. They're really just there to warn people that you're backing up, but they're kind of useless when you're in a dark environment and you're trying to back up and you want to be able to see. Yeah, they shed some light, but not like these. These, you turn these on and now I don't need any other lights in the back except for maybe scene lighting at camp, but otherwise I don't need to turn those on anymore just to be able to see where I'm going. These do the trick. Now, just like the fog lights, these are also plug and play. You don't have to do any kind of fancy wiring. They plug up to your factory harness, and it's probably going to be one of the easiest installs you'll ever do. All you got to do is put your tailgate down, and on the inside you're going to see 2 bolts to hold your original taillight. Undo those bolts and then take your taillight and kind of pull it towards you, and that'll pop right out. Then unplug the harnesses on the back of them, match them to the Morimoto taillights, and then pop it back in place, put those 2 bolts back on, and you are good to go. And finally, I wanted to show you guys this. This is the Morimoto LED boost bar. Normally this is used for your license plate. If you really want to illuminate your license plate so that it's visible, this is what that boost bar is for. But I decided to use it a different way. I decided to use it in my camper. I mounted it up here and then I ran the wire all the way down and I tapped into the bed rack lights. That way, every time we put the tailgate down, this will light up and kind of illuminate this area. That way when we're going in and out of the camper, this area is kind of nice and lit so we don't trip on something. Like if I'm trying to get out of the camper in the middle of the night to use the bathroom or whatever and this whole area is dark, I might end up not seeing where my tailgate ends and I fall flat on my face. But at least now, every time I open this tailgate, this lights up and I can see where I'm going. Now this thing is pretty bright though. It's at about 29 watts and 2700 lumens, and as far as color temperature, it's right about 4500 Kelvin, so it's not going to be ultra bright white but more like a warm white. So you know, if you have an area where you kind of want to just give it some illumination, then consider getting a few of these LED boost bars and you'll be set. I really liked how I used this though. So the question becomes, at some point, will I ever replace the headlights with Morimoto headlights? And honestly, I don't know, because I actually really love the look of the LED headlights on the Tacomas right from the factory. It was one of the selling features for me when I was buying the Tacoma, that I loved the look of them. The LED versions, not the halogens. Had I ended up with a Tacoma that had the halogen lights on it, that would have been gone day one and Morimoto's would have been put in immediately. But time will tell. If Morimoto wants to work with me on putting their headlights on here, I'll give them a try for sure. But as far as the fog lights and the taillights are concerned, I mean, those were just awesome upgrades to this. But anyway, that's it. I know I've been bombarding you guys with relentless build videos lately, but I'm getting this thing prepped up because end of September and pretty much all of October, I'm going to be out with this thing and exploring. So I want to kind of dial it all in right now. But as far as this video is concerned, we're going to end here because there are neighbors that are staring at me already, wondering why I'm still recording at 1:22 in the morning. See you guys later.
Does anybody even see me?